Bruce Lee accepted one last student on July 18, 1970, 2 days before he died. The student was 7 years old, had cerebral palsy, couldn't walk without leg braces, couldn't speak clearly. Bruce spent 45 minutes teaching him one movement, just one. The boy's mother watched, cried the entire time. When Bruce died 2 days later, that mother realized what she had witnessed. Not a martial arts lesson, a farewell gift. Bruce Lee's last act of teaching, given to someone who would never be able to fight, but who needed to know he could. Hong Kong, July 18, 1973. Wednesday morning, 2 days before Bruce Lee's death. Bruce is at home, supposed to be resting. Doctor's orders after the collapse on July 10, 8 days ago. 8 days of trying to slow down, of trying to listen to what the body is saying, of knowing he should rest but not knowing how to rest when there's so much unfinished. A woman comes to the door, Mrs. Chen, in her 30s, carrying a small boy, 7 years old, Daniel, born with cerebral palsy, legs twisted, speech impaired, but eyes bright, alert, aware of everything even when the body won't cooperate. Mrs. Chen is nervous, apologetic. She knows she shouldn't be here, knows Bruce Lee is recovering, knows this is an imposition, but she came anyway, because Daniel asked. Because Daniel has asked every day for 3 months. Because Daniel saw Bruce Lee on television and something in him responded. Something that doesn't respond to much. Bruce answers the door himself. Linda is with the children. Bruce alone, in simple clothes, white t-shirt, black pants, bare feet, looking tired, but present. Here. Yes, Bruce says. Mrs. Chen struggles with words. I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're recovering. I know you need rest. But my son, Daniel, he wanted to meet you. He's asked every day. I thought maybe, I'm sorry, this was a mistake. She starts to turn away. Bruce looks at the boy. Daniel looking back. The bright eyes, the twisted legs in metal braces. The body that won't obey. The mind that's completely there behind the disability. Wait, Bruce says. What's your son's name? Daniel. Daniel wants to meet me? He saw you on television, in a film. Something changed. He's been talking about you every day, asking when he can meet Bruce Lee. I thought maybe, but I understand. This is not a good time. Bruce looks at Daniel again. Really looks, sees something, recognizes something. The body as limitation, the mind trapped inside, the wanting to move that can't become actual movement. Bruce understands this more than Mrs. Chen knows, more than anyone knows. The body failing, the mind still there, still wanting, still trying. Come in, Bruce says. Mrs. Chen is shocked. Really? Are you sure? Come in. Daniel came all this way. We should at least talk. They enter. Bruce leads them to the living room, helps Mrs. Chen set Daniel down on the couch. Daniel's legs can't support him. The braces help but don't solve. He sits, looks at Bruce, smiles. A crooked smile, one side of his face working better than the other, but genuine, pure. The smile of someone meeting his hero. Hi, Daniel, Bruce says, kneeling down to eye level. Your mom says you wanted to meet me. Daniel tries to speak. The words come slowly, slurred, difficult. I saw you on TV. You fly. Bruce smiles. Not fly. Just jump. Good camera angles make it look like flying. Looked like flying. Maybe a little. Do you want to fly, Daniel? Can't walk. Bruce is quiet for a moment. Then can I show you something? Daniel nods. Excited. As excited as the limited facial control allows. Bruce stands. I'm going to teach you a movement. Just one. Not for fighting, just for understanding what your body can do. Is that okay? Mrs. Chen speaks, Mr. Lee. Daniel can't stand, can't walk without braces, can't. I don't want you to waste your time. Bruce looks at her. I'm not wasting time. I'm teaching. That's never wasted. Daniel, can you stand with your braces? Daniel nods. Mrs. Chen helps him stand, the metal braces supporting the twisted legs. Daniel standing, unsteady, but standing. Good, Bruce says. Now, we're not gonna kick, not gonna punch, just gonna move weight from one foot to the other. That's all. Just weight shifting. Can you feel where your weight is right now? Daniel concentrates. Nods. Most of it is on your right foot. Yes? Daniel nods again. Now, very slowly, I want you to shift some of that weight to your left foot. Not all of it. Just some. Like you're rocking gently. Can you try? Daniel tries. The body fights him. The cerebral palsy making everything difficult, making the simple act of weight shifting into a complex negotiation between intention and execution, but slowly, incrementally, some weight shifts left. Good, Bruce says. You did it. That's the foundation of all movement, weight shifting. Everything else builds on that. You just did the most important thing in martial arts. Daniel's face lights up, the crooked smile wider. He did it. Bruce Lee said he did it. They work for 45 minutes. Not on techniques, not on forms, just on weight shifting. Left to right, right to left, forward, back, the basic vocabulary of movement that most people never think about because it comes automatically. But for Daniel, it doesn't come automatically. Every shift is deliberate, difficult, earned. Bruce is patient, never frustrated, never rushing, just present, attentive, encouraging, correcting gently, celebrating small victories. Every successful weight shift is acknowledged, valued, treated as the achievement it is. Mrs. Chen watches, crying quietly, not from sadness, from something else. From watching her son do something she's never seen him do, move with intention, move with purpose, move with someone who sees the effort, who values it, who treats Daniel not as disabled but as a student learning something difficult. After 45 minutes, Bruce says, "That's enough for today. You did really well, Daniel. You learned something most people never learn, how hard movement actually is, how much control it takes, how much focus. You have that focus. You have that control. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't move. You can. You just showed me." Daniel is exhausted, the kind of exhausted that comes from total effort, total concentration, but happy, radiating happiness. He met Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee taught him. Bruce Lee said he did well. Mrs. Chen helps Daniel sit, says to Bruce, "Thank you. You didn't have to do this. You're recovering. You need rest. But you gave him 45 minutes. That's more than I can thank you for." Bruce sits down, looking tired now. The 45 minutes took something from him. Energy he doesn't have in abundance anymore. But worth it. Clearly worth it. Daniel is a good student, Bruce says, better than many students I've taught. He knows what effort means, what concentration means. That's rare. Will you? Could he come back? Continue learning? Bruce is quiet, looks at Daniel, then at Mrs. Chen. Something in his expression, something that knows what Mrs. Chen doesn't know, that there won't be another lesson, that this was it, the last one, the farewell. Keep practicing what we did today, Bruce says. Weight shifting, every day. Daniel will get better at it. The body will learn. It takes time, but it learns. Keep practicing. Not answering the question. Not saying yes to another lesson, but not saying no either. Just saying practice. Just saying keep going. Mrs. Chen understands somehow. Not consciously, but somewhere deeper. This was special. This was once. This was a gift that won't be repeated. They leave. Mrs. Chen carrying Daniel, Daniel waving, the crooked wave, Bruce waving back, standing in the doorway, watching them go. The last student leaving, the last lesson given. 2 days later, Bruce Lee dies. July 20th, Mrs. Chen hears the news, sits down, can't move, understands what happened. 2 days before he died, Bruce Lee spent 45 minutes teaching her son to shift his weight. Bruce Lee's last student, his last act of teaching, given to a 7-year-old boy who would never fight, who would never be able to use martial arts the way martial arts is usually used, but who needed to know that his body could do something, could learn something, could move with intention. Mrs. Chen keeps Daniel practicing every day, weight shifting, left to right to left, forward, back, the movement Bruce Lee taught, the last thing Bruce Lee taught. Over months, Daniel gets better at it. The body learning, slowly, incrementally, the same way all bodies learn, through repetition, through attention, through the patient accumulation of small improvements. Daniel never becomes a martial artist. The cerebral palsy doesn't allow that, but he becomes someone who moves with more control, more intention, more awareness of what his body can do within its limitations, and he knows who taught him that. The last 45 minutes Bruce Lee spent teaching anyone, spent on him. A 7-year-old boy with twisted legs and a bright mind and the courage to ask his mother if he could meet Bruce Lee. Years later in 1995, Daniel is 29 years old, still has cerebral palsy, still uses braces, but independent, working, living, managing the disability rather than being managed by it. A journalist is doing a piece on Bruce Lee's students, interviewing people Bruce taught, building a picture of Bruce Lee as teacher, as mentor, as someone who gave time to people learning. Someone mentions Mrs. Chen, mentions that Bruce taught her son 2 days before he died. The journalist tracks down Mrs. Chen, asks about it. Mrs. Chen tells the story, the visit, the 45 minutes, the weight shifting, Bruce's patience, his attention, his treatment of Daniel as a real student learning something real. The journalist asks if she can meet Daniel. Mrs. Chen arranges it. Daniel tells his side of the story. Remembering the day, 22 years ago, age 7, meeting Bruce Lee, learning to shift his weight, feeling for the first time that his body could do something other than fight him. What did it mean to you, the journalist asks. Daniel thinks carefully. His speech still slow, still difficult, but clear enough. It meant I wasn't broken, just different. Bruce Lee didn't treat me like I was broken, didn't feel sorry for me, just taught me, like I was any other student. That changed how I saw myself. I wasn't the disabled kid anymore. I was the kid Bruce Lee taught, the last student he taught. That made me someone who could learn, someone who could improve, someone who mattered enough to teach even 2 days before dying. The journalist asks Mrs. Chen what she understood that day. I understood we were witnessing something, Mrs. Chen says. Something final, something that wouldn't happen again. Bruce didn't say no to another lesson, but he didn't say yes either. He just said practice, like he knew, like he was giving Daniel something to carry forward, something that would keep working after Bruce couldn't teach anymore. Did you think he was dying? I thought he was tired, very tired. But no, I didn't think he was dying. I thought we were lucky. Lucky to catch him at home. Lucky that he said yes. Lucky that he gave 45 minutes to a 7-year-old who couldn't walk properly. I didn't know until 2 days later that it was more than luck. It was a gift, a final gift. Bruce Lee's last act of teaching, given to my son, to someone who would never fight, but who needed to know he could move, he could learn, he could improve. That's what Bruce gave him. That's what we carry. The final student, 7 years old, cerebral palsy, twisted legs, bright mind, 45 minutes on July 18, 1973, learning to shift his weight, learning that movement is possible, learning from Bruce Lee 2 days before Bruce Lee stopped moving forever. That's the final student, that's the last lesson, that's who Bruce Lee chose to spend his teaching energy on in the last days when energy was scarce and precious and every minute mattered. Not a champion, not a prodigy, not someone who would carry Jeet Kune Do forward into fame and fortune, just Daniel, 7 years old, unable to walk without braces, but able to learn, able to shift his weight, able to move with intention for 45 minutes while Bruce Lee watched and encouraged and treated him like every other student who ever had the privilege of learning from Bruce Lee. The final student, the last gift, the movement that kept moving long after Bruce stopped. Weight shifting, left to right to left, forward, back, the foundation of all movement, taught to someone who had to fight for every movement, who had to earn every shift, who had to concentrate on what others do without thinking. That's who Bruce Lee chose for his final lesson. That's the student who carries the last piece of teaching, not technique, not philosophy, just movement, simple, fundamental, essential, the kind of movement that proves the body can learn, can improve, can move with intention even when everything is difficult. Daniel still practices. At 49 years old, still shifting weight, still remembering, still carrying the gift Bruce Lee gave him 2 days before dying. The gift of knowing he can move, he can learn, he can improve. That's the final student. That's the last lesson. That's Bruce Lee's farewell to teaching, given to someone who needed it most, who would carry it longest, who would understand what it meant because he had to fight for every piece of it. July 18th, 1973, 45 minutes, weight shifting. The final student, the last gift, the teaching that continued after the teacher stopped. That's Daniel. That's the story. That's the final lesson.